And that if I ever proposed to her, she said that she would expect that I would do it in a way maybe like James Bond would do it.
That's a minimal thing, right? Just like James Bond.
I felt like I had a high threshold to meet, and we had the opportunity to be in Europe for this New Year's with her family. We were going to be in Paris actually on New Year's, and I tried to make the James Bond thing happen. I would try to rent a river taxi, one of those fancy boats, but they don't run at that time of the year. I tried to get a helicopter, but they don't fly anywhere within a vicinity, like 10 miles of the Eiffel Tower.
Your new BMW 750.
All the usual refinements. Machine guns, rockets, the GPS tracking system.
I ended up getting some guy to, in a vintage French car to pick us up, but I hired a photographer. I had the ring. I had it in my luggage. They were trying to check bags in the plane. They're like, there's not enough for overhead room. I'm like, you cannot have this bag. It was in there, like wrapped in a sock, wrapped in a tie, wrapped in a glove.
Why are you so worried about the bag? Like, chill. He's like, he's very sensitive about his...
I talked to Bonnie's dad, and I asked for his blessing beforehand, and he told me not to tell her mother or her brother because they would blow it.
Latino mom.
And her dad, he was a cool customer. He acted like nothing happened after that. The plan was to have, since it's New Year's Eve, I kind of played it up as if we were missing out. I told her, I said, it's gonna be New Year's Eve. We're not gonna get to spend any time together alone. Can we go out, maybe do a sunset walk? And Bonnie recommended going by the river.
The Siena. Been in Paris before, so I knew that was a nice sunset, but it actually was perfect because you were planning.
I already had that plan. That's where the photographer was gonna meet, and
which was perfect.
I just knew he had a purple scarf. He was gonna have a purple scarf on, and he knew what we looked. I knew what he looked like, and he knew what we looked like from pictures. Because your mom didn't know, she was not happy with us going out at 6 o'clock at night. She's like, we're gonna have plans, this is never gonna work.
Yeah.
And that's how I got Bonnie to get dressed up too, because I'm like, you're right, your mom's right. We're not gonna be able to have time to go back, so we might as well get dressed up like we're going out for the night. And I think your dad had to tell your mom at that point, so she backed off.
Yeah, because my mom doesn't live in the same city that I live, so I don't get to see her that often. And we were only gonna see each other for 10 days in Europe. Was like, what do you mean we're not going with you?
Well, she wanted to see some sights. I think she wanted to see Notre Dame.
Yeah, which made sense.
Which made sense, but your dad, I think, had to tell her, listen.
Yeah, listen. We're going to the Siena. I want to make for the blog. I want to go to this macaron place that it's kind of close by. It's kind of close by.
It was 2 miles.
And
I'm looking at my clock.
And we can get the macarons, and they have hot wine, and then after we can go to the Siena. So we got there. Mike, he's playing it completely cool. I'm taking the time of my life, taking photos, eating the macarons, and he's like, I think this is kind of far away. But then he said the magical phrase, and he's like, Bonnie, we're gonna miss the sunset. And of course, I'm a photographer, and I'm like, if I go to this place where I can take photos, if I don't catch the sun and I don't catch the sunset, it's gonna be horrible photos at night. So I'm like, you're totally right. We need to go to the Siena.
So we were supposed to meet the photographer a half an hour before sunset, and I knew that was great timing because she always talks about the golden hour ever. He was posing as a random tourist. He was actually, when we arrived, he was actually taking cell phone picture of a group of tourists with their cell phone. And I asked him the same thing, which was the plan. Can you take a picture? And I handed him my cell phone. That was the cue.
I honestly had no idea.
So he agreed, and then he handed me back my cell phone, and I had memorized. It was so I talked to the jeweler, and they had given me some tips about that you don't want to open the ring before you say everything you want to say, because like she's not going to hear. She's going to be in such a daze. She's not going to hear what you're saying. And the photographer had asked me to give him 30 seconds to a minute to make sure that he was ready before I did it. So I wrote a speech. It was like a poem that I memorized completely. I used to say it every day to myself. And I thought for sure it was going to be great, but as soon as I started saying, I guess because I write that probably better than I speak, Bonnie was like, is this a speech?
Is this a speech?
And I went with it, and then
I'm like the worst. Like
the jeweler was right, because you know, shout out to Nancy Gonzalez at Tiffany's.
Yes.
Anyway, the jeweler was right, because as soon as I opened the ring, Bonnie, she was, you know, shell shocked. It was like Omaha Beach in Private Ryan. She's like, put that away, somebody's gonna take it.
I'm like, I'm from Venezuela.
I want to put it on your hand. So.
I'm like, oh, right. It goes on my hand. I don't know, I just never thought how emotional it really could be. The proposal happened, you really, your mind explodes. Like when I saw you on your knee, I'm like, holy, no, but when I told you, is this a speech? I already was like the crazy levels were like going high, and then when I saw you on your knees, I'm like,
and then we had that James Bond car. Come and pick
That
us
was
up.
awesome.
And then we had like champagne in the back.
cheers.
I'll take a picture if you want.
That was awesome.
It was pretty cool. We did a tour.
Plus we get to do the photo shoot for like 30 minutes.
Yeah,
No,
we
it
did a
was an
photo
hour.
shoot. Yeah, a photo shoot afterwards. Then the car. We did a tour around all the romantic places in Paris during the Blue Hour.
Which was great also, because we got to talk about the whole thing for like 2 hours.
Our driver was, you know.
He was pretty
wish
bored.
she had brought
It's like,
earplugs.
it's been 2 hours, you're repeating yourself at this point. And then we got to have dinner with my family.
Salud y felicidades. Salud.
Which was awesome to share with them. Of course, with my girls on WhatsApp, I'm like, hashtag, it's real.
So now we're planning the wedding.
Yeah, now we're planning the wedding, which has been like a full-on
Job.
But we're gonna tell you more about the wedding in another video. So a question for you guys.
I feel like everyone's story is unique, and we'd really love to hear from you about how you met, or if you're engaged, how you got engaged. And
Yeah, that'd be
married,
awesome.
How you planned it. Maybe tell us.
Give us more tips in the comments.
Or what we should look for.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And look out for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.